Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to Best Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Yes, that's right, Best Map, the potentially new permanent name for what's map. A lot will depend, especially on the analytics, which about now I will be checking. And I'll be going, I made a really good decision, or I've shot myself in the foot. One way or another, there's going to be plenty of humming going on right about now. Now, meanwhile, over on the workshop, we found this map. It's by a creator we've done twice in the past, episodes 800 and 939, on each occasion getting 12 stars. And today's map is going to be in that category with some caveats. Do you like caveats? Well, now's the time to go about them. That's right, humming about caveats really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, as does clicking that like button. Today's map is Colorfull World by stevensdomi. Now we've gone with the American spelling of colour and 2L with it. 2L with 2 L's in Colorfull, you see, well there's 3 L's but 2 at the end, never mind. There's your start square. We have some very straight looking harbours, which makes for a very nice grid city if you want to do a grid city. We've got terrain heights which are flat in places and undulated in others. Very interesting map. We've got plenty of resources, all of the resources, and you will not go short. Okay, but what about Sunset Harbour? If you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, it looks like this. Not entirely sure if you need Sunset Harbour, but I'll leave you to point out where I've missed the little detail. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it is a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. You also need Sunset Harbour, apparently. We'll also be using network extensions too, network tiling, unlimited tree mod, procedural objects. Yes, we'll talk about that a bit later on. And apparently theme mixer too, although there are no instructions about which themes to mix and only one to subscribe to. That being Toulouse Mission, and we'll be using the Relight 3 Soft LUT. Few things to subscribe to, not the world's longest list. Okay, before we talk about procedural objects mod and stuff, let's have a little look at the shipping routes, and they are pretty good. They do go everywhere. We've got some very smooth looking routes underneath bridges that are a good height and a good width, and we've got all these little triangles that work very nicely, very slickly. And when I say that, I mean on the whole. For example, let's have a little look at a ship coming in this way. It would have to take a little jink that way or a jink that way to get into the harbour on the rest of the map. Don't know what that is. We've got some underground tunnels or something off the map, and I don't know what that is either. I'm not going to mark the map down on it. It's obviously some sort of a relic from the actual map build, but very interesting to see. Also, shipping routes, we've got, if you were to build a harbour down, say, here, ships coming out the harbour might have to take a jink out that way. So we've got a lot of these lovely triangles to keep the ships moving smoothly, but one or two areas where there's potential for a bit of a right angle turning. Water flow. You don't really need water flow, but we have got some not far from the start square, which is coming through this way. You'll see what I mean about you don't need the water flow in a moment, but that's not too far from the start square. You can see here we have some water pumping there, and it's always, sorry, water drawing there. And we've got a grid down already, so you're pretty good actually. You can get on and start building right off without too much worry about water problems. Right, down to ground level, let's have a look at the highways. They come in elevated via a bridge right to the edge of the map. We have got some really lovely visuals on today's map. Colorfull World sums it up very nicely. More of the autumn trees. We had autumn trees last year, but they're used so much better by the creators this year. It's really lovely work. This intersection, I'm going to say, down here at ground level, we've got elevated at ground level roads here, and you're going to see this ongoing in many locations. I'm not entirely sure they really need to be there. I don't think it adds anything. Let's have a little look where this dirt track leads to while we're down here. And we'll do a drive through along the highways in a moment. This one just dead ends up here watching the ships go past. Actually, I don't mind that. Roads that lead somewhere, even if they're not really very exciting. A lot more interesting than roads that lead nowhere and then back to themselves. Yeah, I don't mind that one at all. We've even got a hint of some sort of path that winds down. This is more aesthetic. Nobody would do a windy path like this just just to get to the end of the peninsula there. But I think it's a nice aesthetic. And then over this side, we've got, I like these, you'll see a few of these roundabouts which have got a little hump in the middle, and a good mix of trees on there, just giving it that third dimension. And then we've got what I think is basically a nice park area. So if you've got park life, this area would make for a lovely park area. We've even got a really nice water area down here as well, ready to go. So yeah, all credit there. I think this is definitely a park area. Well, certainly for me, that would be a nice parky area. There are loads of other park areas on the map though, so you can pick and choose, which is great. We've got this area here on the bridge, nice and wide and nice and high for the shipping to pass under. And then we're across to the mainland. Now, we drop down from the highways, again though, dropping down to elevated at ground level, which is causing a slight indent into the land. I just don't feel that it's really necessary. We could always use, if you want to have these sound barriers, you could always use sound barrier roads along there. And then we are down to ground level with another lovely little humpback roundabout there. And down to some of the vanilla 2-lane roads. Now, we've got a little bit of a, I'm not sure if you call that a jinky-janky or not. It's not really, it's too smooth to be a jinky-janky, but it is definitely jinking. So I'm going to point it out. It's nothing horrific and nothing I'd be too concerned about at all. But yeah, comparing it to the rest of the road network, it stands out like a sore thumb. So that just goes to show how good the rest of the networks are when you get something like that. It's so minor and it stands out as being probably the worst part, you know? Anyway, we're looping around. We're looping back. Now, why are we looping back? Where are we going with this one? Well, the answer is, when I suggested earlier about roads that go somewhere, I like roads that go somewhere even if they're a little bit nondescript, like that little peninsula where it was just like ended, you've got ships going past. Here, we are looping around the mountain. We're back to the highway. We've got another one of these humpback roundabouts. Very nicely done. Humpback roundabouts. Got to say I like them. And here, there you go. It's just a driving a loop. Now, I personally would get rid of that. I wouldn't have that. I would leave that completely down to the player to build. Because, honestly, I wouldn't use that. I would demolish that if I was building on this map. And I'd do something different. It's nice that it's down. I guess it's thoughtful that it's down. But it's not something that I think really adds to the map. Does it distract from the map? Wee bit, just a wee bit. Nothing really to cry about though, is there? Over this trumpet intersection, a little bit of a wibbly highway down here. So again, it's just a little bit wibbly. And it's only because the rest of the highways are so good that that little roll in the highway just looked a little bit off. So we're just flying straight over it. Now down to something very, very exotic. This intersection here. Right, it's 3 highways coming together. Now, if you're driving from the right-hand side, you've got 2 ways of getting to the left-hand side. Let me just set the camera down. So you can go straight on to that highway. Yep. Or you can take the turn off and come down to this highway. Right. And straight off. If you're coming from there, you can go straight down and take the U-bend. Or the U-bend. But if you're coming this way, if you come this way and you want to get to the left, it's really round the houses. Some of those roads just aren't used though. And anyway, it's a luxury intersection. Just probably worth demolishing as well. But do you know what? If stevensdomi had fun making it, that is all that matters. Coming past a little, we were talking about the water earlier. It's got its power down there as well. So that's going to get you started in your start square with water flow. All good. Now, the next intersection is another one of these roundabout on each side. We're not going to talk about the detailing or the elevated at ground level or anything like that on this one. It's going to look straight over it. You know, we're talking about having roads that go somewhere. Well, that very first one looked like it was a park area, and this feels like it's a park area too, so I don't mind the looping back on itself. Except for at the end here. Well, we've got another looping around the Peninsula Road, which I just do not really buy into. And I'll explain why in a moment. First of all, let's do the drive, because my instinct is that a road like this would only be built if it was cost effective, or if it was an aesthetically pleasing route that we're going to take to just like a family holiday. We come down here. This is the park area, isn't it? So somewhere like here. But on the left, we've just got the ocean. On the right, you can't really see anything because it's just a hill with trees on it. And then we come down to ground on the other side, and we can just loop back. I just do not buy into that road around that side of the peninsula. So the looping around the lake at the top, I kind of go with that one because it does feel like a park. But this end peninsula, not really something that I'm going to buy into. And yes, you probably noticed something about swimming trunks. We will get to swimming trunks later. In fact, not those ones, some other ones. Okay. Regulars to the show will know what I'm talking about. New people are going to go, what is he talking about? Imagine if this was your first show and suddenly I'm talking about swimming trunks. Yeah, regulars will know what I'm talking about. We will get to that later. Right, if we take this turn off down here, this is really interesting. And as such, we'll come back to it in the second half of this show. Because doing the Explorer up there is going to take us away from the networks for a bit more than I really want to do. So we're going to go to the edge of the map here and do a U-turn and come back along the rail. Because we've got rail here and it doesn't follow the highway all the way. So I'm all for that. Also, you may notice at this point in the review, the camera has stopped moving. Now, there's a very good reason for that. At the moment, I am suffering a little bit heavy with the asthma. In fact, I'm on take 5 on the voiceover at the moment. Normally try and do it in one take. At the moment, though, I'm on take 5. I was having a bit of a problem at that point, and normally what I'd do is I'd edit that out and go very slickly onwards. Unfortunately, I completely forgot to edit it out, and to make the changes at this late point in the editing of the video means changing too much, and it's just better to leave it in and to just basically skirt over it and pretend that you guys care about me being a poor old asthmatic even. Right, having trouble talking, having trouble breathing, the whole world is ending. It's fine, it is going to be fine. Right, as we carry on, the rail is smooth and it's slick, and it follows. We're just off of the start square now, so you're not too far from getting access to the rail once you get your city started. If you're following the standard, what I'm going to call vanilla rules, which is 9 tiles. Oh, hang on a second, we've got some missing pillars here. What is going on with this? stevensdomi? Where are your pillars? What's going on there? Don't know. So yes, what's going on here? What's that? It's got me stumped. It's a tree stump. Okay. Right, no, nice little bits of extra detailing. I do like that. It just adds a little bit of variety to the map. So yes, it's... all told, this is a map which is really very nice. It's got a few minor niggles, a few minor things where you're going to probably want to fix it as you're going along if you're a top level city builder. And I think you're probably going to want to be on this map. That said, there is a light version of this map. Now, I haven't checked out light version. Where there's a detail version and a light version, I think it's only fair when we look at the detail version, because all the extra work has gone into it. Knowing that there's a light version is going to be good for those of you that don't have a powerful rig, don't know about the mods, because this is a map that requires procedural objects, and we'll be checking out a few of the procedural objects in the second half of the show. So something else to look forward to in the second half. We need to get there first. Let's have a break.
Very few maps achieve the coveted all-star status. 5 stars for aesthetic, detail, and gameplay potential. To see them all in the all-star playlist, click the button now.
And of course, there's one more all-star map added to that list as of last week. Definitely check it out. Right, okay, let's have a little look at, first of all, the basics of the map. We've got some really lovely terrain going on, some really lovely mix of trees. It feels very natural and very believable, and in some places a little bit fantasy in some places. But it's just one of those maps that sucks you and says, you've got to play me. You've got little areas like here. We haven't even been up here, and we've got this little terminus for the rail over here, and we're up in the hills, and we've got nice looking sections there as well. Right, where are we going to go next? Let's head down to the... we've got this fantasy water structure in the... It's slightly higher sea level in the middle there. So we've got water spawning out of that, and we've got a floating rock. And just a floating rock there. There's a little bit of an oopsie. We'll just pretend that we didn't see that one, shall we? Just a tiny little bit of detailing. In terms of detailing, genuine detailing errors, we do have around here swimming trunks. Where is it? There it is. We have one down here. It's that tree's got his trunks on, you know. Gone for a swim. It's not the only one. You did see some at the end of a peninsula in the first half of the show, which we're not going to go back to because there is another occurrence around here somewhere. There are some very nice lakes, though. Ignoring all that, because I'm being very bitchy about the mistakes, aren't I? I'm sorry about that, but they do stand out because they are few and far between, and it's a map full of detail. Following up into this, remember I told you there's some really interesting detailing going on up in this area, and there really is. Got the roundabout and 2 entry roads to this area. This is a stately home area, or an abandoned stately home area, and it's done exceptionally well. Let me show you this. Look at that stately home there. We have got this little the walled gardens down here, and we've got some decals down here as well, which again I don't remember seeing on the requirements list, but I like the way they've been used. Even across the road there, showing the mud on the road. That's really very neatly done as well. And I'm buying into the shape of the walls and the towers and the factory. The castle. Oh, it's a castle, and the castle itself. That's all great, all good work. And I'm loving this little private lake as well. I feel that these marsh weeds and stuff like that, I feel they're just a little bit straight and a little bit underfinished. Let me show you what I would do. Again, this is just a very quick job. I'd probably just copy a couple extra just to break up the lines a little bit. So maybe one there, maybe another one out here a little bit. So 4 extra plopped ones just to break up the shape a little bit down here is probably what I'd do down here. There's also, yes, a couple more trees going for a little paddle down here, both of them wearing their trunks. Aha. But yes, genuinely, I mean, the minor little detailing issues like that aside, I really like it. What more have we got going on? There's plenty more going on. We've had a little look down that peninsula there. We've had a look at the water feature. Let's have a look down here. We have got, right, this rock work down here is really very nice again. But this slab here, this is procedural objects, which I will show you. Let me grab the procedural objects mod. Boom, there you go. If I click on that, I'm going to move it, and it's going to be out of position for the rest of the review because I'm not going to put it back. But there you go, one big old rock there. So yes, it's going to hover. I'm not spending time replacing it. Control Z probably would have done that, but it's too late. I'm moving on. I've got things to do, things to see, and there is even more. Like up here in the hills, we've got a featurette. Actually need to find the intersection. Down here, the intersection. We've got a roundabout down here, which says, welcome home. Oh, thank you. We're home. Ladies and germs, we are home. Let's follow this track and see where it takes us. Now, this is a bit of a fantasy part of the map. Certainly the routes that we're taking. Again, I don't buy into the route, but I'm buying into it more than the routes at the end of the peninsula. This feels like it is designed for a reason to get to this. Now, again, this is procedural objects, but my goodness, look at this. This is absolutely freaking amazing. Absolutely. One of my favourite things I've seen in a long time in a What's Map stroke Best Map review. So there is that. Right, we're getting towards the end of the show, which means we better cram this in. It's the asset of the day. The commercial building chausseestraße by Jens. Jens is back with some really lovely European buildings. So if you're doing European city build, do check them out on the workshop. This one, love it. And factoids, because factoids. Might have time for a couple of quick ones here. Some parts of Paris, or Paris, have a public flush toilets for dogs. And about time too. We could do with them in... How do dogs know how to flush, though? There's the question. So yes, public toilets for dogs. Flushing toilets for dogs, sorry. And oh, time for one more. I think we've got time for a new meme on this show. We've got to do this at least once a week. So yes, I'm fully aware. But did you know that only female mosquitoes bite? Only the female ones. Marvellous. Anyway, commercial building, Chausseestraße by Jens. That is today's asset of the day. It's blinking lovely. And back to the asset review. No, back to the voting of the map review. What part of the show are we in? I don't know. But it's a part of the show, yes, the part of the show where you get to vote on the map. Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen and take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. What do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, it's very, very striking. It's very well done. Great choice of theme. And let's, again, do we need Theme Mixer 2? We don't. But honestly, it's very nicely done. I just feel there are a couple of places where it just takes me away from the immersion. I'm going to go for a very high 4 stars. Very close to 5, though. Detailing is strong. I kind of think I probably have to give it, I'm going to go for a really low 4. Okay, there's probably some assets missing off of this that I happen to have, like those decals for mud. I'm going to go really low 4 because the detailing is exceptional. As for gameplay, I'm going to go medium low 4 because it looks very playable, with the caveat that you need to be an exceptional player with an exceptional PC and knowing how to play about with procedural objects to really indulge fully. Colorfull World by stevensdomi, and I'm going to give it the seal of approval. It's honestly, it's borderline. It's borderline because I just suspect there are things that I've got subscribed to which are appearing in that map that are just making it a little bit more that I'm missing. I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. I don't honestly know. I've spent over 4 hours on this and I can't spend any more time. I've got things to do. Anyway, if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Well done, stevensdomi, by the way. Use the word of the day into the comments to score yourself 100 population points just for fun, and we'll be back tomorrow with another What's Map.